Greetings, citizens of Planet Weird. Paul Christ here for the 6th episode of The Funky Shredder. Today we're going to be talking about a topic that I've covered in another one of my videos a couple of years ago, but I want to address again, which is odd time, but fooling around with the first downbeat of every bar to kind of create a little rhythmic interest. Before I actually give any examples, though, it made me think a little bit about time signatures. Now, certainly for drummers and for a lot of different musicians, the concept of the time signature seems to be like this elusive, confusing thing. It was for me when I first started having it explained to me. And so I basically just wanted to talk a little bit about what it is and what it means. The time signature is essentially just a rule. If you were looking at a piece of written music and you look at the beginning of the first bar and you didn't have a time signature there's basically you could put as many notes in there as you want. So you have to establish some kind of a rule to tell you how much room you have in a bar before you have to move on to the next bar. So the time signature 4/4 just means 4 quarter notes. That's all that means. It's just telling you that you have the room of 4 quarter notes in a given bar before you have to move on to the next bar. You can chop them up, divide them, toss in a bunch of rests, mix them all up however you please, as long as mathematically you've got the equivalent of the space of 4 quarter notes, and then you've got to move on to the next one, got to move on to the next. It's the equivalent of never using a period at the end of the sentence. If you didn't have periods establishing the end of a sentence, it would just be one long, illegible, terrible run-on thing. And that goes with any time signature. 6/8, 6/8. You're talking about 6/8 notes. If you're doing something as we're talking about an odd time, 7/8. All that means is you have the room of 7/8 notes before you have to move on to the next bar. And on that subject of playing an odd time, I'll play a little example in 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 1. Now, a lot of times, we as drummers really want to feel that first beat of the bar very hard, and we'll, traditionally throw on a hard bass drum note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3. But, I don't know, sometimes it sounds a little bit like a record skipping, or it just sounds a little bit too heavy or intense. So, a great technique that you can use to kind of liven up and create a little bit of rhythmic interest when you're playing an odd time is taking away that first downbeat. Now, I'll count along to help you keep track, but check this out. 7 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Without being tied to throwing in that first bass drum, it makes it flow a little bit better. You can very simply, as I demonstrated, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3. Just throw a bass drum in on the second beat. Or play a fill over the bar line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 1, 2, 3. And, odd time, man. Mix it up a little bit. Don't always be so worried about throwing that bass drum note right down as the first note of the bar. Now comes the point where a ridiculous question is asked, and then a ridiculous answer is given. Oh, tiny wife.
Yes, Paul?
How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck were chucking weapons-grade plutonium instead of wood?
Well, I mean, you would assume that the weapons-grade plutonium would give the woodchuck superpowers, such as super strength, So I would assume that, if a woodchuck could chuck wood, well, no, I'm sorry. If a woodchuck was chucking weapons-grade plutonium instead of wood, I would say he was chucking all of the weapons-grade plutonium in the world because he has crazy mutant superpowers from the weapons-grade plutonium.
Obviously, everyone knows that radiation gives you superpowers. Science.